And so, honestly, I don't know that much about Sleigh Bells.
I have you not listened to a lot of their stuff? Like you've
I've
been
I've listened to a couple of their stuff. Infinity Guitars is on like my singles playlist. I like Riot Anthem or whatever that song's called, but
yeah, right. What is it? I think it's
Riot Rhythm.
Riot Rhythm. There you go.
It's mainly stuff off their first album and a couple of things off their second album. But I know they're like kind of a noise pop group. And of all the people that were releasing albums this week, this was the one that I most wanted to listen to.
Yeah, this is the one I was most interested in also, which is weird because I haven't been a fan of theirs really. I
No.
No, I had a couple friends. Yeah, after their second record came out, I had a couple friends who really, really liked it, and I was working at PacSun at the time,
Mm.
so we were also hearing it all the time. And dude, there was just I didn't understand it. The whole noise pop thing. I thought they were kind of obnoxious. Like it was just too much for me to take in. You know,
Okay.
I hate it's. I'm allowed to have an opinion.
Not one
Okay,
that's different from mine.
that's true. I forgot. I have to fall in line with Brett every time.
Please. And thank
But
you.
yeah, it's weird because it's been probably over 5 years since I've heard anything by them. I had just Sleigh Bells has not been in my life for 5 years,
Yeah.
and I agree. This was like there was like four albums that were coming out today that I was interested in talking about, and I would say this is the one that me and you like we crossed paths and we're just like, all right, this is the one that we're both interested in
Mm.
talking about.
Yeah.
Because the other ones were like Amel and the Sniffers, that are like an Australian punk band. They're pretty cool, obnoxious, garage rock punk
Hmm.
stuff, and so I'm definitely gonna check that out. Uh, and the I forget what the other one was, but I know the Metallica cover album I really wanted to talk about, but I had no idea that it was gonna be 53 songs.
Yeah. And
And so,
a lot of repeats.
dude, like, so is it the whole Black album?
I don't know.
Is it all the songs? Okay, so I couldn't figure out if it was the whole Black album that was being covered, but it literally like there's literally like seven different covers of Nothing Else Matters, and
Yeah.
like
Yep.
Enter Sandman, and
Hmm.
oh shit, sorry, I bumped the mic, but I was really, I was honestly really, god damn it, I was honestly really excited for that record because there's some random ass bands covering Metallica songs, and that got me really hyped, and but we just couldn't do it, man. I think
It,
we learned our lesson from Little Sims last week that if the album is an hour long, it's gonna be a 2.5 hour live stream, and I didn't want to do it.
well, man, I mean, 56 or whatever songs, it would probably take us like 8 hours to go through and talk about each one.
I mean, there's no way that
So
we can listen
it's
one,
not feasible.
song by song. It's just not feasible. Yeah. But man, I gotta say, I listened to a few of those tracks today, and I liked a couple of them. I liked My Morning Jacket's cover of Nothing Else Matters a lot.
Really?
The ones that make it their own are cool. Mac DeMarco covered Enter Sandman, and it sounds like Enter Sandman, and I have no idea why he didn't make it a Mac DeMarco song. I was so excited to hear a bedroom pop version of Enter Sandman, and all he did was like he's just playing it.
Ah, well, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, the My Morning Jacket cover of Nothing Else Matters is pretty fucking cool. And the other one I really liked was I can't remember.
I thought you were trying to take one of my sneezes from me.
I If I could I would, buddy. If I could I would. Welcome everyone to our live stream. This is our Earbuds Podcast Friday live stream. We're going to be doing this any Friday that an album comes out that we are at all interested in talking about.
That's right.
And like we were saying before, Sleigh Bells has a new record out today called Texas. with an I.
Texas with me. I live
Yeah,
in Texas.
you live there. I just left there because fuck Texas. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I
But
mean
but kind of.
a little bit.
I'm not that far off by saying fuck Texas.
And this is just an actor. Who is this on the cover here? Do you know?
Dude, I want to say Audrey Hepburn. or maybe that's who they're going for. Maybe that's like the vibe they're going for is an Audrey Hepburn situation. But either way, not sure who's on the cover, but it's a cool cover. I dig it. It's like this old black and white photo. I like that they like came up with a weird spelling for Texas. I don't know if they're from Texas.
No, they're from like New York, I think.
Yeah, you're right. New York. Wow, they formed in 2008. They've been at this for a little while. Um, well, dude, if you just want to, we already talked about our history with sleigh bells. I already said that I'm not a fan. So I honestly am curious what this is going to sound like. I hope I like it.
I think we ought to just hop on in.
Dude, I'm ready.
Okay.
Wow. That's
So first off, I'm really digging it. I think the guitars sound fantastic.
dude. The chuggy. I love the chuggy guitars with the kick hitting it every single time the guitar
Yeah.
chugs down. Like
Yeah.
that
It's
hits really
it's
nice.
it's very charging beat. It's very momentum forward. I love it when the guitar goes like full off explode mode. Like the
Yeah, when
tone
they
there
finally
sounds
like
great too.
start just opening it up a little bit. I
Yeah.
like the guitar like little thing. I that just like I'm just gonna imitate that for the rest of the night.
And so all I caught lyrically was like it kind of you're too old for rock and roll. And so
Yeah.
I wonder if that has anything to do with the album cover picture because it's like this kind of mature looking young woman,
hmm An Audrey Hepburn type,
an Audrey
I might
Hepburn
say.
type. Uh,
Maybe that's what the I don't know if that's gonna be like a through line on the whole record or not, but yeah, that was a cool opener, man.
yeah, it was pretty cool. I like the vocals. It's a little, it's like very chill vocals, I'd say for
For
uh
Sleigh Bells, right? Like, because that was one thing that I didn't like about Sleigh Bells, 10 years ago or whatever, was just like she's like screaming at you, but not like rah, rah, rah. It's like yeah, like just really loud vocals. I'm just like, dude, it was like a little too much for me. So that yeah, this I like these vocals a lot more. They're like pop vocals more than like a noise band.
yeah. Uh, let's just head on to the next one, see what we got ahead of us. Onto
Yeah,
An Acre Lost.
yeah. Real quick, that song kind of sounded like a Fear Factory, like a major key Fear Factory song
Oh yeah,
that was remixed by Texas or by Sleigh Bells.
by Sleigh Bells.
Yeah, I'm one hit in. Let's see where this goes. Man, what like that was more Mortal Kombat than the first song.
Yeah, it, it my my critiques of this.
You're at a loss for words.
Sorry, the things I say about this album could be just things that you say about the band, right? Because I just don't know their sound too well and how they've been developing. But
Right.
it's very EDM inspired with like the drums and the synth, but also the uh,
Industrial metal.
industrial metal. Sleigh Bells is a duo, a singer and a guitarist, and
Yeah.
my favorite parts of the song so far have been when the guitar really comes in, right?
Right.
Like when it's in that little riff, that's kind of sounds like it's coming through an old radio. Uh, I love that part.
Like, that's so cool, man. All that electric double bass.
Yeah.
That's cool as shit. Are clean vocals a new thing for Sleigh Bells? Is that like the what's making the difference for me here?
No, I don't think it. I really don't think they are. I think she was more aggressive in the earlier stuff, but she's always had like kind of clean vocals.
I, okay, what I remember from Sleigh Bells was everything was distorted and like really distorted. That's the Sleigh Bells I remember.
Well, this Sleigh Bells does have distorted bits, but I mean, this song went through a lot of phases from
Yeah, it did.
like destructive industrial EDM to kind of more ethereal stuff with that reverb heavy guitar kind of in the background and
And then like an 808 type of like doom,
yeah, right.
like very like it's cool. Like the song was like a manic like 80s industrial metal pop song.
It's
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 very, very unique.
it's pretty chaotic, and I'm kind of loving that.
Yeah, like in the best way. And a really nice, like poppy, catchy chorus.
Yeah.
It reminded me of a band called Discovery. Discovery's like a electronic band of the singer of Vampire Weekend and the singer of oh god, Rah Rah Riot, I think.
Oh.
The two of them did a little super group, and it's all electronic. It's really, really good. They clearly are like having a lot of fun on it, and this one reminded me of that because it kind of went all over the place like their songs, but in a really good way.
Well, maybe do you know when they made that band?
Discovery, man, I was listening to Discovery in like 2010. Yeah, I feel like it was like that's when Rah Rah Riot was at their biggest, you know. So I think people cared about it because I did. I loved Rah Rah Riot.
Well, I'm loving this album so far.
I'm digging it, man, for
Uh,
sure.
I say we go on to I'm Not Down.
Oh, I am down.
I'm down.
I'm down.
All right. Yeah, it seems like the things to be expected with this band are the driving beats throughout the entire song, right?
Yeah, I was a little worried at the very beginning. It sounded so much like the song before it. I was like, uh-oh, it started to get a little repetitive. But then immediately when they did that, damn it,
Dan
damn it,
it.
like
Yeah.
that part's cool. That part's cool. Like the chorus, it has a great chorus, this song.
It's honestly odd to me how little the guitarist feels like how little the guitarist is in these songs being one half of the duo and like he just knows where his parts need to be and what when his guitar will have the most impact, I
I
guess.
would imagine the dude playing guitar, it might be the guy programming all the drums and
I,
doing like who knows if he's playing the synth too. It's just two people.
who knows? It could be her doing all that.
Yeah, for sure. Like she I'm really, really liking her voice. Like I really like the very 80s like dreamy um reverb that they're putting on her voice on these songs. It gives it a really, really specific 80s vibe. So it's cool to hear like an 80s sounding vocal track paired with like an industrial techno song.
Yeah.
But that, dude, that chorus, I mean, that chorus goes from sounding like Brain Stew to sounding it like after two measures, it becomes like a Florence and the Machine song with double bass.
Yeah, right. And it's a weird double bass because it's not up front and present like in metal music. It's kind of like behind the mix,
But it's like pumping. It's like if my,
but
it's
it's
like,
still pumping.
you know, when you can hear your heartbeat like in your ears, your
Yeah.
heart's beating. It's like, boop, boop, boop. That's what it sounds like. It's like, it's very punchy and like, what is that? Like gated or like compressed or something.
Compressed, yeah.
It's I really like that sound. It to me it's totally different than the sleigh bells I remember where even their bass drum was like really, really distorted. So it'd be like boosh, like everything sounded really staticky and it was like it would give me a headache, man. But this is way cleaner. The production to me for me is like way, way neater and tighter and clean.
It kind of sounds like in a way they have matured over these albums in that their sound is there's a little more dynamics in the sound and they're not just going full throttle the whole time, I guess.
Yeah, maybe they're too old for that shit. She's not too old for rock and roll, but maybe they're just too old to be a ridiculously loud noise band because this so far to me is a pop record that's using industrial metal as a backdrop almost.
Yeah, yeah. And
Really cool.
I love the part in this song where it kind of breaks down, you know? And it was
Yeah.
mainly just the vocals. It was very cool.
It
Uh,
was it was cool. The weird the instrumental part before that was a little weird to me. It seemed a little like aimless, but
mm,
they brought it all back, and that was a cool song, man. I'm really liking all three of these so far. Whoever's watching this, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on Twitch, I don't have it open on my computer. I can't. Hopefully, Brett's following along with the chat on Twitch because my computer almost blew up last time we were streaming. It was scorching fucking hot. But if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. If you're listening to the podcast, thank you so much. Our podcast is called if you're watching this on YouTube, which you could probably see the name of our YouTube channel, but our podcast is called Earbuds Podcast. Me and Brett, every week we get together and review one album. We put out an episode every single week. We've talked about everything from Linkin Park to Lizzo to Turnstile. We're all over the place. We both love a lot of different types of music, and now we're doing these live streams. So please leave a comment, follow us, chat along.
All right. You weren't I just got back. You weren't shamelessly plugging our stuff, were you?
I was only plugging my stuff.
Oh, okay. Cool. Your own like
Yeah,
personal stuff and projects.
yeah. I'm selling a lifestyle.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Locust
mostly Infowars stuff. Yeah,
Locust List.
dude, that's like one of the best Newfound Glory songs that you're never gonna hear from Newfound Glory. That was like so pop punk and like slash easy core. I that is
It was a lot.
that's my favorite one so far.
Me too. I like how it started off with that kind of Asian sounding kind of instrument riff thing, and then it gets into that chugging.
Like at first I was like, ooh, that's metal as fuck. And then when the song progressed, I was like, oh no, this is like easy core pop punk.
And then
Dude, that
the that chorus comes in, and it reminded me of the cover of the first album with the cheerleaders stacked on top of each other because it kind of seemed like a
yeah,
cheerleader, like, all right, everyone clap, all right, everyone together now.
dude, it's so catchy. Uh it's like it reminded me of hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend.
Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is like if Avril Lavigne had stuck with her sound from like day one. 20 years later, this is like what she could have written.
If Avril Lavigne actually had anything to do with the rock genre, then
Right.
it
Yeah,
could have
she got
turned into
kind of
this.
like lumped into a pop punk scene when she wasn't really pop punk. Um, that man, it's crazy how much this reminds me of Discovery again. Like, I really want you to go listen to them now. Um,
Well, I guess I gotta.
it's not the metal like rock infusion that's happening here. It's more the synth sound, like the choices, whatever synthesizers they're using. It's like Discovery used all those, and man, I'm loving it. This is like ultimate ear candy right now.
It's ear candy for someone who wants to destroy stuff.
Yeah, like I wanna like I'm getting a cavity listening to this song. It's like so all these are like so sugary sweet, if that makes any sense. Like saccharin almost, but like in the best way.
But maybe with a little cinnamon in there, give it a little kick.
Some allspice, little splash
A
of
little splash.
Baja Blast poured on top. Man, this is fucking awesome. I am very surprised at how much I'm liking this record, and to me, this is a completely different band than I heard 5, 10 years ago.
It's I mean, I'm digging it so far, man.
Yeah,
It's
I'm loving it.
crazy how short these songs are.
Which are perfect, honestly, because they go in so many different directions
Yeah, and
and switch it up so often that it'd get exhausting if it was any longer.
it's just odd because most of these songs are around 3 minutes long, which is the normal length of a song, but it feels short just because I guess you go through so many parts so quickly.
Right. If
You're just kind of taken on a roller coaster journey.
like usually I like to listen to a whole album through without stopping, right? Like I feel like that adds a lot to it.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of these songs seem like they end and the next song immediately starts. Like there's not a lot of like downtime.
yeah,
And I think this is one of the only instances that I actually think it's good that we're stopping after every song and getting a little bit of like a okay, like it just brought us up here and it's like a little bit like we get to level out a little bit and then we go into the next one and like let ourselves rise and then level out again because I
yeah.
think it would if I listen to this nonstop for the whole album it might get exhausting like by halfway through, you
Right.
know.
Which is yeah, I feel the same way. Like I'm not sure I could listen to an entire album of this, but I guess we'll see where it goes. Maybe
Yeah,
it'll do something totally out of character.
It has so far surprised me on every song so far. There's been at least one or two moments where I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, where did that come from? And it's really fun.
And so let's just go on to this next song, Knowing.
Ooh, little bedroom pop guitar little hit there at the end. That was kind of cool, right? They kind of slowed it down a little bit.
Yeah, if we were listening to this entire album nonstop, that would be a nice break from
It
everything.
would have been a great break, yes.
And
But
I,
still, like, they're so catchy, dude. I cannot
yeah,
get over it.
and when you said this is good party music, I think all the songs we had listened to previously are good for like a rave, and this is a good just like normal party.
Right, like a party where people are actually talking.
Yes. And
Yeah,
like, everyone's just got like red solo cups and we're just all like,
it's a
you know,
college party. That's gonna be
it's a
on.
college party.
That's gonna be played at so many college parties this year. I wish I was still in college. It was kind
Man.
of sexy, like you said. It had a little sexy,
It had a
like
little sexiness to it.
it reminded me of like '90s, kind of early '90s pop music, like Ace of Base and almost like Enya a little bit. Like it had a really cool, laid back kind of like, but still kind of like you can tell they're like, I don't know, like it's like a fuck it attitude.
Sure.
I don't know what it is. It has this vibe of just like a bunch of people that are like too cool, like they're too cool to care.
Oh, is it come and get high and pushing my wrist, faith and decide the swing of your hips just to pull me down
Yeah.
high, drown me in love.
What is that?
I don't know.
Like it's definitely. I mean, I don't. It's probably a coincidence, but it sounds exactly like that melody.
Um, Come on, get higher by Matt Nathanson.
What the fuck is he, like a country guy?
Come on, get high, pushing my lips.
Yeah, that's like country pop, right?
I don't know.
I don't know either,
I
but
don't know.
I liked it. I liked it. It was a nice. It was a nice break. But still a lot of really nice, flourishy synths and I like that little addition of the guitar. Like very little guitar in that song, but they did it like chicka 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 chicka. Bless you.
Thank you.
I think that was nice too. I liked it. They kind of the guitars finally took a little bit of a back seat. It was a nice chill little dance song.
The guitarist has been taking the back seat for most songs, except for like specific moments.
I mean, we've had a big presence of guitar in every song until that one just now. I mean, they're just doing like like it's still a guitar. He might not be like doing widdly woos, but he's still playing.
Yeah, but well, in any case, uh, let's go on to the next song, which is Justine Go Genesis.
All right, all right then. That was cool. That's cool.
That is the definition of 0 to 100.
Yeah, it had the guitar was like more front and center on that one. Like he came back, and then it had a cool like almost like alternative metal riff going there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of like that little half step that he takes up, like that made it minor. That's what it went from like a pop punk song to like, oh, this could be like, a Creed song or something. Like the intro to, some to I don't even know, Alter Bridge. Speaking of bridges, this song had a cool bridge. I liked it.
Yeah, it was very neat.
It was like to me, it's like the bridge was kind of bringing back like the old Sleigh Bells vibe. Really loud kick drum
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
really distorted guitar, like almost fuzzy.
yeah.
But I do not remember them using so much double bass, and I'm loving like it almost sounded like a live kit at times on this song, like just going off on double bass. But I can't even tell. For all I know, that's all programmed.
Who knows? I mean, I surely can't tell the difference most times.
But
Uh,
it's like this, they just keep you guessing, man. They keep introducing those like it's those double bass parts are so effective at just catching you off guard because they'll go from this one did have cooler, like kind of more involved drums a little bit,
yeah,
kind of almost the amen break.
A little bit.
a little bit, but just different enough to not be a sample of that or whatever. But it like that I could tell was a drum machine, and then during certain like of the louder parts where the double bass was like really going with the guitar, it sounded like a live kit.
I mean, maybe, man. I bet they could get some people in to do that for them.
Yeah, for sure. If not, one of them just knows how to play drums. But I I I didn't like the chorus too much.
No, it was. I thought it was interesting how they brought in these clean synths uh, during like those specific parts, usually during the chorus. I think.
Yeah, it was the chorus. The I'm a concrete calendar girl.
Yeah.
It maybe it felt too much of a drop. It felt like the like a pressure release, like a pew, and then the chorus like doesn't hit nearly as hard, and then they come back super energetic and loud for the verses. It just kind of like felt like it should be reversed in traditional songwriting. You know,
Yeah. Right.
sometimes that works. I know songs that the choruses are the quietest parts, and sometimes it does work with the vibe they're trying to get across. But with this one, I don't know. It didn't really land with me.
Well, even when they're doing a quote unquote quiet chorus, there's still, a bunch of
Quite a
stuff
bit.
going on.
Yeah, quite a bit going on. I think it was just the guitars drop, the drums get a little quieter, and then they have, like you said, like the clean synth. All of that just kind of went like it's like the chorus was just an immediate drop. So I don't know. I didn't want it. My brain didn't want that to happen.
Well, let's move on to Tennessee Tips.
That was fun.
Yeah, I thought that the beginning little riff on the synths or some weird vocals or something, I thought it was super weird that very last note they hit. But when the guitar comes in, it makes a lot more sense because it's like a bend.
Yeah, right. It just that it's a split, like a diminished
Yeah,
note or something, but
it's
it does work. It's really, really weird. Like you don't like my brain doesn't want to like it, but I liked it.
I love it. I can't. I wouldn't say it's like more of a metal type riff, but
It's,
it's like a
I mean,
combination of I don't know, just like pop punk and metal in an odd way.
yeah, it's really weird. The combination throughout this whole record of pop punk and metal kind of just like blending together in a really cool way. Like, I mean, those are two of my favorite genres. Like I'm really loving that vibe throughout this record. Like this one sounds like it'll be in a coming of age like teen movie soon enough. It's gonna be
Oh
like
man.
during the intro credits of some coming of age like cool edgy teenage comedy.
Right.
And this one had a similar chorus to like Justine Go Genesis, the track before it, in a sense of like the chorus kind of dropped again and it got a little quiet.
It kind of the chorus had a lot cleaner instruments. It had a dreamy 80s kind of feel about it a little bit.
Yeah, but I liked it better than Justine because I think it's more dreamy, but it also felt like it had more energy. Like I didn't feel like the energy dropped that much
Right.
during the chorus, even though it's like the volume dropped basically, like the onslaught of the noise that was coming at you like chilled out. But it's still quiet but it makes the right impact. It was like the right type of drop where it makes every part of that song makes the other part more impactful.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, where that last chorus I feel like took away from it, this one like definitely adds to the bookend of like that really fucking weird, cool metal techno
Yeah.
pop punk verses. And what's up with the video game like anime music part in the last chorus? Like that type of double bass was awesome.
I loved it. I
Yeah,
thought it was
it
I
was cool.
I mean, they love that double bass, man. They just can't
They're
get enough of
using
that
it.
thing.
They're using it in a really, really cool way. And I'm sure they borrowed from some '90s drum and bass, you know, like this whole genre of music that me and you probably don't know anything about. So
Right. Yeah.
this is probably not new to a lot of people, but to me, this is a very cool new sound, and
It's
I'm digging it.
probably very old hat to other people.
Right. Right. But to me, it is very fresh. It sounds super fresh to me. Like they're combining a lot of disparate types of music in a really good way.
Yeah, it's
None of
it's
it feels forced.
it's all things that you feel shouldn't go together but do very well. The clean vocals and the double kick, the clean synths, the distorted guitars.
Yeah, they can go from hyper distortion to like bedroom pop, go
Yeah,
back and forth, and it
right.
doesn't feel like jumbled or like rudderless. It all
Right.
feels very much like it goes together, and it's like my brain can't make sense of it, but my heart can.
My heart and my body feel it.
Yeah, and my Lala Googles, my Lala
My
Gagoops.
Jabal Galoops.
Yeah, it's a real Solange of them to do this. Those are just like three back-to-back inside jokes that no one else is gonna understand.
Well, stick with us, kid. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, you watch enough of our videos, listen to our podcast, it'll all make sense soon enough. What's next? Rosary?
Next is Rosary, baby. Let's kick it
I
off.
I'm gonna predict that this is gonna be slow.
You know what? I was gonna say the same thing, but now that you said it, I think it's gonna be the most intense one on the album.
Oh, I hope you're wrong.
Wow. Yeah, you were right. You got it. As far as this album goes, that was a soft song.
Yeah, but oh man, that chorus is probably the catchiest chorus on the record so far.
Yeah, get down and Rosary.
And I'm loving that pre-chorus with the nylon guitar,
Yeah, yeah.
like the rosary and rosary, like and the really nice harmonies.
Yeah, and then it had that weird like da 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 da. That was like it feels like it was taken from another song.
Yeah, yeah, and they still found a way to like have the distorted guitar in this, but it's still this like just really nice pop song.
Yeah, I think I mean so far I think that might be my second nug.
I I wouldn't blame you, man. This is definitely a top five so far for me, and we're 8 songs into it. Like I can say top five pretty confidently.
That's a pretty safe bet.
That's a pretty safe bet.
I mean, I don't
What's
know.
next?
We got 3 songs ahead of us. We'll see if they could just blow our gourds, man.
I hope I get Gordon. Like I we have 3 songs left, and I really want them to end strong. So let's see what happens, man.
I mean, here's the thing. The last song is called Hummingbird Bomb, and that is like so exciting to me.
I literally just saw that and I got a little worried at first, but then I saw bomb and I was like, oh, the juxtaposition of these two different things make me think this is gonna be a badass song. We got a couple more before that.
Yes.
So let's listen to Red Flag Flies.
You got it. All right. We got a request from Lucas. Let's put on Red Flag Flies
It's
by
an idea.
Sleigh Bells off Texas.
It's an idea. Just
It's a request. I mean,
it's a request.
I'll humor you.
Yeah, thank you for once.
In three, two, one, a bachow. I would say that is definitely the most evil song on the record so far.
Yeah, there's something about that type of melody, that do 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 do, that I just like has never agreed with me.
No.
No, I don't like that type of melody that much. So like I didn't like the main riff of that the music was doing. I liked everything that the vocals were doing.
Yeah, those harmonies were perfect for like making it a weird, evil, discomforting kind of sound.
Yeah, it definitely had a horror, like a horror pop vibe. Like that part that was like really genty, like industrial, like distorted guitar part reminded me of like Rob Zombie, like the same tone that
Yeah.
Rob Zombie. Like I'd immediately thought of like Dracula, you know?
And you kind of pointed out at the intro that it was kind of like a like a circus, like an evil circus music or something.
Yeah, that's it, and I think it's that circus. Maybe it's just that I associate that type of melody with the circus. And it's, how many times is that type of like organ? Like how many times has that been used in like horror movies, like scary circus
True.
music? So I just always have been put off by it and I just don't like it. So I'm a little scared, honestly,
I
after that song.
man, I really liked that song. That's definitely in my top five. I
Okay,
I
yeah. I mean,
also I loved the breakdown when it kind of sounded like a cheap drum set and cheap guitar, and then it blasted into the
how fucking cool was that part, dude?
that was heavy, man. And then it just
And
goes
it
back into
lasted two
the
measures.
yeah, and then it goes back to the
Yeah, we go from like and then like so the drums totally cut in half or in a fourth or something.
yeah.
And they did it for the perfect amount of time. And it's the perfect amount of time because I wanted more of it. And it's like they gave it to you and they took it right
They
back.
took
They're
it
like, nope.
right away.
Yeah, that was cool. That was good. Despite not liking the main melody, I like that song.
All right, well, let's get on to Truth Seekers and see what you think about that one, huh? Huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking
Maybe
tell you what I think about it.
maybe you'll stop being such a dick about this.
All right.
Maybe you'll I don't know, maybe you'll get that stick out of your ass
Yeah. Maybe we'll stop
after
being
this
such a
one.
piece of shit about this album. All right.
Okay.
Wow, I really like that song.
That was a very smooth one. I'd say that would probably be the first single they would release on the album.
I was gonna say if that is not a single, that is going to be a single. It's cool that it has the vibe of a breakup song, but it's like more empowering.
Yeah, yeah. It
It's
and it
really cool.
it kind of sounded like a church's song a little bit,
Sure.
or a yeah. It's the music sounded like churches, and the vocals kind of sounded a little bit like Haley Williams from Paramore.
Okay.
Is what I kind of got from that. But I just love the I don't know the music on that was so beautiful the whole time.
Yeah, very 80s sounding, like the synth and the really simple drums was nice. Like the like being able to control being chill for an entire song. Like for, not
Right.
for the it's I thought that was like he they pulled back in a really good way. Like everything sounded really good and just like they got the perfect feeling of like yearning,
Right. Yes.
like longing for something,
Yeah, that kind of melancholic yearning for something that you can't have or that you lost.
but it's like a more hopeful, like this is gonna hurt, but it's worth it.
It's gonna hurt, but it's worth it.
It seemed like it was more like it's one of those. It's like a bittersweet ending of one chapter, and like a bittersweet beginning to another.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's really like captured that feeling so perfectly. And I don't think you noticed because you're probably too busy sneezing and coughing and stuff. But
Yeah.
I spaced out for a good little bit there, where I was literally like just staring off,
Just like
and
zoning out.
dude, mouth like just hanging, and I just complete that song just like completely like put me. I started thinking about shit. Like that song made me think about shit
Yeah. Another one in my top five. I I think
for sure.
I mean they've done a really good job with the order of this album, I think. And like
Yeah,
where they're
because
putting their breaks and where they're putting everything. And I think there's no excuse now. There's no excuse for this to not go out with a bang.
I 100% agree. If this last song is not a banger, I'm gonna be pretty disappointed.
Like if it's just just like a piano and vocals, and that's it the whole time, then
Oh, don't,
I'm gonna be
please
a
don't,
little disappointed.
please don't.
But
I really hope they go out strong because that True Seekers, that last song is the classic last song of an album.
right,
That's what they would have done 20 years ago. And but I'm hoping they go out with a fucking bang, man.
yeah. Should we just get into it? This is the last song, Hummingbird Bomb.
Yeah, with a name like Hummingbird Bomb, I have a certain
And like a thing like Hummingbird Bomb is like the perfect title for something like this. I almost kind of wish that they named the band Hummingbird Bomb.
it's such a great name, dude. That is a great band name.
It just perfectly describes their music, honestly.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Let's do it, man. It's only 3 minutes and 14 seconds. This is gonna be
Let's do it to it, man.
all right.
Well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I gotta say I'm a little disappointed
Uh,
for as an outro, as a last song.
I'm a little. It's so odd. At I mean, why would you? You remember what I said after the last song that I said this album has great structuring? I take that back now. I take that all
Yeah.
back now after this last song, just because this could have been a great song to break up, some more of
Yes.
their intense, heavy stuff, and they're like something like Locust Laced or something could have even been a better outro.
Yeah, man. I was thinking the same thing, like Locust Laced or even Tennessee Tips would have been a good outro. But I feel like that's what sucks is that every like you said, the structure of this album is great, and I feel like they nailed it until the last song. Like
Until the very last song.
Yeah, Hummingbird Bomb could have easily been thrown into the middle of the album and been one of those like flyover songs. But they put it at the end. That's how they wanted. That's the impression they wanted to leave you with is what you think if they put that as the last song. So it's weird because it's not it's catchy enough, but it's not like that energetic. It's kind of mid tempo.
I mean, I think it was a good song,
It was all right.
though it wasn't really very unique, I'd say, in the scope of this album. I feel like they've done everything they did on this song before in this album, and they didn't
But
really have any
also,
more cards to they didn't have any tricks up their sleeve for the last thing.
yeah, and also a lot of pop music before this song has already done this. Like that's what really set them up. That's what set this whole album aside for me. This is a pop record that is using so many different other sounds. So this song just sounded like a whole bunch of other songs I've heard. So that's why I was a little until the last chorus. Like the last chorus is cool when they brought in the guitar, they kicked it up a
Yeah,
notch a little bit.
I mean, I'd say though they like 30 seconds into this song, they kind of showed like 80% of what they had. And there really wasn't much space to go from
Yeah,
it. I mean, I was expecting them to still impress me because they've been impressing me this whole album, and I thought, well, it can't be anything more than this, and then it does something crazy. I
yeah,
was kind of expecting some insane like I don't know, maybe even like scream vocals and like absolutely distorted everything.
yeah. I definitely was hoping for the exact same thing, but I didn't know what to expect. Uh,
But I mean that might be a little selfish of us to be like, oh, this is the kind of song I wanted at the end of the album instead of looking at it.
I mean, you got to think how many people listened to this record before it came out and decided, listen to it in that order. A lot of people signed off on this, including Sleigh Bells. So there's a reason why they put that song last. And I almost feel like they were just like, this is our least favorite one.
I mean, I'm not sure they could have approached this as just like it's just another compilation of songs cuz not no songs like bled into each other. It was
No,
all like song stops, then song goes, song stops, then song goes.
right.
And so they could have, I don't know. There was just nothing. unique about that song that warranted it being the last song on the album, I don't think. And it could have just been the lyrics are a good bookend to the album, but I couldn't really tell what she was saying aside from
Yeah,
coming back home.
yeah, that's the only thing I picked out too. I totally agree with everything, and I feel like the song would have been I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if that last chorus was the way that they did every chorus,
Right.
because
Uh,
then you would have gotten a little bit of everything, instead of leaving it for one time, give us like a little taste of it, to where I feel like it would have served the song better if every chorus sounded like that.
yeah, and if like the first chorus sounded like that, and then every chorus after that got even more crazy.
Right, that's yes, I would have loved that. But man, despite that, I don't think it takes much away from this record for me.
Yeah, let's get into the dang thick of it, man. Let's talk about this whole dang record
Damn,
as
dude.
as
Well,
shortly as possible.
as shortly as possible. I like my history with Sleigh Bells is I've never been much of a fan. I always thought they were like too noisy and too loud, and that's coming from someone who likes like death metal and
Oh yeah, like new metal and
like I love loud and distorted and heavy, and but there was something about their sound. I think part of it, what it was that it was probably the way it was produced. It was super bright and but
right.
also super bass heavy, so there wasn't a lot of mids going on there.
It was
And for
very fuzzy, I'd say, in the first stuff.
Yeah, super fuzzy. Even the bass was like literally everything was distorted. It sounded like the snare, the hi-hat, the synth, the vocals, like it was just too much for me. And this was such a like 180 from that sound, or almost like a maybe like a 120. Like
I mean,
they shifted just enough to really, really make me like it.
I honestly don't think this is so drastically different from any of their other stuff, but it is definitely they definitely have a lot of cleaner tones and more dynamics, more soft instruments that they, wouldn't have in the first couple albums.
Right.
But it's
But there was
super a lot of very catchy songs on this one. A lot of very interesting moments in a lot of the songs.
Yeah, like in I'm Not Down, track number 3, where the chorus goes from sounding like brain stew,
Yeah.
and then like Florence and the Machines with double bass. Like that was so unexpected and such a weird combination of things that all worked really well and super catchy. Pretty much across the entire record, every song is really catchy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The vocals across the entire record are great. I wouldn't say it's like it's nothing that's like so impressive or anything, but
No, it's not incredible,
the
but it doesn't
vocals
call for it.
it
Maybe
doesn't yeah, it doesn't call for it. It's just soft, kind of chill vocals.
really good though.
Uh
I liked her voice a lot, and it worked really well, even with the heavy double bass, weird industrial metal parts that are like scattered throughout this whole record.
I mean that's one of the main pulls of the band, isn't it? That this female vocalist with some pretty chill vocals behind this industrial, distorted, driving, super heavy beats and music.
Almost the music at times almost reminded me of Mortal Kombat soundtrack.
Yes, you said that on like four separate tracks. You were like, this is the new Mortal Kombat soundtrack."
Yeah, like the first song, Sweet 75, legit, it just sounds like a Fear Factory song that's in major key that got remixed by a pop group.
Yeah.
Like it's such a weird like that's such a weird sentence. And it so weirdly works really well on the whole record. Like except for the last song on the record, I loved every song.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I would have loved Hummingbird Bomb had it been somewhere else in the album, and I wasn't, because the whole time I was focusing on it being the last song of the album, and I honestly couldn't pay too much attention to
Mhm.
it as just its own song.
Yeah, we were holding it up on a pedestal before we even got into it
Yeah, yeah.
because like I mean, the song right before it, True Seekers, is so good, like 80s, like
Very
this,
still, very chill, very beautiful
like
music.
nostalgic almost.
Yeah, and very like the single, like what should be the single of the album for the general public.
Like how they did it like 20 years ago is basically you release two songs that are energetic, and then the third song, the third single is always the ballad. And so traditionally, True Seekers would be like the third single off of this record. But I this like it could easily be in a movie soundtrack. It could easily be in a trailer. It could be during one of those like montage like coming of age moments in a movie. Really, really good. So like we heard this like great song that like finally on the whole record that was so energetic and loud and like in your face but super catchy and fun at the same time.
Yeah.
True Seekers brought it down so well and like still had such a good vibe to it, and I like I said when we were listening to it, like I legitimately spaced out like for about 30 seconds. I was just staring out the window.
Yeah, you were just zoned.
I was so into the song, and this, like we were saying, the song has such a vibe of like yearning and longing, and it sounds like a breakup song, but it's not. And so coming out of something so good that like brought down the record to such a great level, we both wanted something really energetic and really loud and
It
metal and
it's
pop
kind of what
punk
we
and
were
everything.
expecting because
Yeah.
this album starts off with all these chugging, and there's a lot of double kick throughout the entire album, but these distorted guitars and these driving beats, and so I just kind of expected those to make a return on the very last song.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They just kind of decided to end it off on a, I'd say,
Like a traditional pop song.
like a lukewarm tone, I guess.
Yeah, it really just kind of leaves you at like a meh feeling at the end, but like it does not take away from how much I really really liked this record. Like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
hearing the combination of like what we were already saying, industrial metal and just metal in general, and tons of double bass but pop music at the same time. But the weird like little like sprinkles of pop punk in it was, and like easy core was really cool.
Yeah, right. Like what was that which song had that crazy weird riff? Uh
Man, I don't know because like the Red Flag Flies had kind of a weird riff.
it was like it started
That was
off
dope
as
to
a
see.
weird kind of vocal or a synth, and the last note sounded like it should not have belonged, and then the guitar came in with it. Uh
Yeah, yeah. I think it was Tennessee Tips, but let me pull it up. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, I really like that one, and that was one that was like had a weird like like a weird off note that they ended on, but it just added
yeah.
to it so well. And like you said, like it made a lot of sense once the song actually played out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's Tennessee Tips. Very cool, like and like they obviously, I think they sampled her vocals and then played it on the synthesizer,
Yeah,
and
possibly.
it has these like really cool punchy electronic drums, and then it goes into like pop punk like riffs, and that's another one that sounded like it could easily be in like a teenage movie or like an American Pie type
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
It had that type of pop punk vibe to it, and it also like was a lot more poppy, but it had like a really great chorus. Like I'll just go ahead and say, man, Tennessee Tips is one of my choice nuts.
Man, it's a close contender. It's I mean it was a very cool song. I love that riff. That's my favorite riff on the album. Is that like
Yeah, very, and clearly being played on like a synthesizer, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the chorus is super catchy. Like, and what's great about the chorus too is like coming out of the song that was before this one, Justine Go Genesis. where it kind of had like a really heavy verses and then like a really drop down quiet chorus. I feel like Tennessee Tips had a similar vibe, but the chorus was way cooler for me because it was like we were saying earlier, like dreamy
Yeah.
and still energetic. The drums are still, but like
Right.
very 80s, very dreamy, and it still gets quieter, still with but still energetic, and it makes the right impact. Like I said earlier too, like it's the verses being so loud and like pop punky and like really fun and energetic, and the chorus being slower or not slower but quieter, like it makes both parts sound better.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on
And
the
I just
money.
love the riff, and I love the in the last like I think it's during the last chorus, this random like they pull out the double bass, but it's like video game
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
anime like mech fighting music double bass. And it's awesome. So that was an easy choice nug, man.
Right.
I loved it.
And I'm gonna guess your second choice nug was True Seekers.
Dude, you know, I don't think it was. I love True Seekers. I would say I had two secondary choice nugs that almost made it to my choice nugs, and those two were Rosary and True Seekers.
Yeah. Rosary was great
But
as well.
Rosary was so good, so catchy and different. But my other choice nug is Locust Laced.
Yep, that's one of mine as well.
Oh man,
It's just kind of what I expected from Sleigh Bells, you know.
for sure.
And they they just nail it on this song, like that
Really
chugging
chubby
guitar
guitars.
with that weird kind of Asian influenced intro with that kind of
Yeah,
plucky sound. Uh,
dude. But then you have this that really great. Like at first, the guitar sounds like metal, but then it starts playing it out, and it's more of like an easy core, like
yeah,
Newfound Glory song,
and
and
it's
it's
like
so cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't even
and then
like,
it starts clapping, and I feel like I should start clapping along and like get my pom poms like I feel like
yes,
dynamite.
very cheerleadery. That's why it reminded me of Avril Lavigne. I don't like your girlfriend.
Right.
The chorus was very like very catchy and very like kind of bratty.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Really cool vibe, man. And during that the second half of the verse, when the guitar is still doing the, but then they bring in that double bass, and
Yeah,
it's super
yeah.
chuggy, super nice and heavy, and they kind of open up the drums too. It is such a good song, and I think it's the first single off the record.
I, you know what? That makes sense. Yeah.
Dude, I would say anyone that is a fan of pop punk should definitely check out Locust Laced.
Oh,
Like
and
just that song in general.
I love how they drop it to halftime, near the end there. They're like, "I feel like dynamite."
Dude,
Uh,
yeah, and that weird, awesome like synth riff, like when he
yeah,
and it like dives,
yeah.
like really cool, really really cool. Like that was the first song to me that, and it's scattered throughout this whole record. But that song, for some reason, weirdly enough, reminds me a lot of another band, Discovery. So I was hearing that all over this record, and
Yeah.
yeah, man, I'm gonna go check out that album next because it's been a while since I heard it. But Locust Laced deserves to be the first single. It is awesome. So what was your second choice, Nug? There?
Oh man. Um, it's rough. I really loved how evil Red Flag Flies sounded.
Yeah,
And that breakdown was super cool. I really love True Seekers. Beautiful song. Knowing was good.
yep.
Tennessee Tips. Uh,
Dude, they're all good.
I mean,
Like,
they're all good. I really love
yeah,
that riff on Tennessee Tips, but I think I'm gonna go with Rosary,
I love Rosary, man.
just because it was one of the more chill songs on the record. But it still kept up the pace. Like it's still something you could party to, right?
For sure. It has like a bedroom pop intro, but then it gets like nice and energetic and kind of like poppy, pumping, rhythm, and we kind of heard this like cool percussion part in the beginning that we both liked. That was like it sounded
Yeah,
like they were hitting a metal pipe or something. It was very like
yeah.
metallic.
And they have a like a nylon or a Latin or just an old beat up guitar that they do, and I love that sound. I think it's the only time they have like an acoustic guitar on this album, right?
I think you're right, and it's playing a really cool like jin 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 jin. It sounds like a riff that they on another song they would have played really distorted,
Right.
but they chose like let's like playing it on a nylon guitar that gave it like a really cool like early 2000s like R&B pop vibe to me.
And that is honestly just kind of a perfect example of how these guys have developed over the years, right? Like that decision to make that like a nylon guitar instead of a super distorted, super heavy like chug guitar or something.
Yeah, because it's not like the song's not energetic. It's I mean,
Yeah.
is the beat for most of the song, but somehow, yeah, making that decision to play that on a nylon guitar adds a really cool like dynamic to it. It has a great tone to the guitar, so it gives you the fullness of a distorted guitar, but it's nylon, and it's I think it's such a great decision, man, because it's only the first half of the chorus. And the
Yeah.
second half
Yeah.
opens up with that really big, arena stadium synthesizer type thing. Like they kind of drop it down like a classic, like wait for the drop type
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
like
yeah.
in a techno song. And then I think it is a really well written, really catchy. The Rosary,
Rosary.
Rosary,
Yeah.
really great harmonies.
Oh, I mean,
Really,
the harmonies on this album fantastic. Red Flag
really
Flies
good.
were some of my favorite harmonies. But I mean, the vocals on this album are fantastic. I love. Usually, my favorite moment of every song is when the guitar takes front center. Very,
Yeah.
very EDM, industry influenced music. Very Mortal Kombat influenced album.
How cool is that, dude? That was so unexpected for me to hear industrial metal, like to hear a pop record that uses industrial metal as their backdrop.
Right.
As like that is so cool and to me very fresh and unique. And if they are not already ripping someone else off, someone's gonna rip it. Like so many people are gonna rip this off.
Right. Yeah.
So many
I
people.
mean, I feel like it must be a more popular thing. It's a little hyperpop does have a little
Yeah,
industrial influence into it.
definitely.
So it that might be kind of what the form is becoming over the years.
I that is a I think honestly that's a great comparison, or maybe not comparison, but just like a reference point. Like this is hyper pop if without the auto tune and crazy sounding vocals.
It's like hyperpop but without the trash.
Yeah, yeah, man, without the like on purpose like annoyingness, where it's
Yeah.
like wanting to be in your face a little bit, where I felt like this album did not want to be in your face because it's weird to hear an industrial metal record that is like essentially just dance music. Like think
Yeah, right.
Ramstein made a dance record, and they got this, an amazing vocalist, which I feel like we need to name these people. Like they are so good. And so it's Alexis Krauss on vocals and Derek Miller, who does guitar production and apparently writes the lyrics.
Really.
So Derek is doing the music and the lyrics, and Alexis is singing. And man, what a fucking duo!
What a duo, what a band, what an album, man.
What an album,
What are you thinking about the rating of this one?
dude. I mean, I'm rating these a little differently than we do the podcast, right?
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
it's first impression. I don't know what I would rate this if I listened to it 4 or 5 times like we do for the podcast, but man, first impression, this is like a 9.0 for me.
Wow.
I
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I think it's a
That's
combination.
crazy.
It's I'm honestly floored by this record, and not just floored by how much like how good it is, I think objectively, and I might just be completely biased, but how much I didn't expect to like it this much.
Yeah,
So
right.
like I am really impressed and honestly like floored and flabbergasted and thunderstruck by how
You're thunder
much
blasted.
Dude, I'm just really, really surprised at how much I like this record. And I love it. Like 9.0.
Wow. Well, I did not expect that. I'm gonna be a lot lower than you. Uh,
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, a good amount lower, but I do want to say the creativity of this album is incredible. First off, the
Crazy.
like just the amount of instruments and the amount of changes any song takes. I feel like towards the end of the album, the songs were a little more cohesive, and at the beginning, it was a lot more dynamic and a lot like this part, and then this part, and then this part is totally different.
You're totally right. That the first few songs were like every 20 seconds something else was happening.
But
Not even.
I
Like every
loved
five
that.
seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was just
Yeah.
crazy. It's off the wall.
I
Uh,
really liked it too. I don't usually like music like that.
but I'm thinking more of a 6.8 for this one. Just cause I feel like if I listen to the entire album, it until you get to like Rosary, I guess, it's a little bit of a it's a little bit tough to get to because everything's so driving
It's an
and
onslaught.
it's very intense. Uh,
But think you have knowing in there,
yeah,
like no.
that's true.
Then you have Tennessee Tips that is more of the vibe of like a pop punk, really, like you said, like cheerleader type of thing. Like I think there are some moments of it gives you a break.
Yeah, right.
So, but I don't know, man. I gotta say, a 6.8. I think you're being a little harsh.
I mean, I don't know, man. I personally
I think you're scared by how much you like it.
that might be it.
You're
I
like, is this my new identity?
I
Is Sleigh Bells like who I am now?
I think as an album, this might be my favorite album, but this album does not have my favorite songs
Of Sleigh Bells.
of Sleigh Bells. Just because
Okay.
if I go to Sleigh Bells, what I'm looking for is that crazy, distorted stuff.
Right.
The stuff that you did not like at all.
So it makes a lot of sense why we have very different ratings, right?
Yeah, and I
Because
think
that's what I was expecting, and I wasn't excited about it.
I do think like this is a more mature sound for them. I think music critics will say that this is probably their best work.
I
Not having heard most of their other albums, but
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think musically it might be one of their best things. Just personally. Uh, well,
Yeah.
gosh, now I feel bad about that rating. Maybe I should. I mean, I if I listen to this album three or four more times, I'm sure my rating will go up.
I
Uh,
really think, yeah, I mean, when we were listening to this album together, hand in hand, we both like almost after every song we were like, holy shit, that was so cool. Oh my god, that was awesome. Like, dude, this sounded so cool. I love this. I love that. So I am surprised by the 6.8. I don't know if you're being a little reserved there with how
well,
much, maybe you don't believe you liked it as much as you did. You're doubting yourself.
maybe maybe so. I mean that the ending had me for a trip. The last song kind of took me for a trip, and I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like that last song, but hey man,
But
seriously though, like still a great record. 6.8 or
I
9,
mean, I
still strong.
honestly I think a 9 is too much. So if you want to swap some points here, if you want to give me like point 0.3 or point 0.5 of your points, I'll go up.
How about we would you want to meet in the middle?
I
What
I
would that
mean
be?
between like seven, I guess like somewhere around an 8, like an 8.1 or 2 or something.
Yeah, I think it would be like a 7.9 is like the middle point. Um which a 7.9 might be a more accurate score. But
Right.
again, I'm coming from like not really liking the band to then being extremely surprised by what I was hearing because not at all what I expected, and then also loving what I heard. So yeah, like I was not dreading listening to this, but I know I was, I was thinking like I'm looking forward to it because I was hoping for the best,
Right.
but I was still prepared for the worst,
Well,
and
I'm glad,
I
man.
liked it. Yeah,
I'm really glad you liked it as much as you did.
me
And
too, man.
I would say the official earbuds rating for this would be like a 7.9.
7.9, and I am totally comfortable with that score.
Yeah.
I think that's a more objective score, but I run off emotion. But buddies,
I
thank you
run
so much.
I run off motion.
You're a robot. You're just a kinetic energy robot. You one of those like wooden things that like they walk in the desert and it's powered by a sail or something. You ever seen those?
Like a boat?
Like
Like
a
a sand boat?
perpetual. It's like a perpetual motion machine, and it just kind of like it looks crazy. Look it up. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, or
Uh,
whatever.
yeah, I'll Google it for you. But buddies, thank you so much for listening. This is our second or third shorty actually.
Yeah.
So
Not
let us know what you.
not that anyone knows that yet.
Right, they're probably going to come out at the same time. But let us know what you think of them. I'm having a lot of fun doing these live streams and listening to these records with you. I think it's super fun to listen to these albums like with you and like react at the because there's man for the podcast the usual episodes we do like we try not to be in touch with each other while we're listening because we don't want to influence
Yeah. Yeah, we
one
want to
another.
come in with our own independent thoughts, and if they're completely different thoughts, then that's even better usually.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like I like having the discussion, but it's so much fun just sitting here and listening to it with you, even though you were sneezing and coughing this entire
Yeah,
episode.
I apologize for that. It is not a good audio episode.
It's all right. It was during the songs, at least.
Yeah,
Uh,
I tried to keep it to the songs, the parts that will be edited out for YouTube.
you were on beat like 80% of the time. I'll
Well,
give you that much.
all right, thank you. Yes,
You're,
I
you're,
tried to. Yeah,
it's just the drummer in you. You can't help it.
I'm just always on time, baby. I'm
Well,
punctual.
buddies, let us know what you think of the shorties. If you're watching the live streams, if you're watching our stuff on YouTube, let us know what you think. We're having a lot of fun, and we want to make sure that everyone else is enjoying it too. But Brett, what would oh wait, real quick, plugging also our regular podcast, the EBB.
Yeah,
We have an earbuds podcast. Like I said, we have a YouTube channel where all of our podcasts go up there. You can listen to this anywhere you can get podcasts and also on YouTube.
yeah, that's right.
Our Twitch channel is twitch.tv/earbudspodcast. It's really easy to find. Our Instagram is EBPcast. I am at Jean-Luc Guitard. Brett is at Brett Hanrahan.
And the EBP Cast Instagram is where you're gonna find like all the information, all of our updates and stuff.
Yeah, we're going to be doing polls some weeks to figure out what album we want to live stream that Friday.
And
Sometimes
completely
multiple.
disregarding them if we want.
The one time we
Lucas.
did, we're like, fuck you, we're not listening to Iron Maiden.
We had 2 streams at the time, so
Yeah, and who cares what the 3 people that voted on Instagram want. But thanks for listening. Catch our every Monday we have a new episode coming out of the regular podcast. Every Friday we live stream, and every weekend we'll have the shorty and the YouTube uploaded as well. So stick around, catch it, listen to it, spread it. Brett, what would you rate this episode?
I'm gonna rate this a 7.9. Lucas,
I'm gonna rate this 7.92. Brett,
this
was
was
good.
good. Bye, buddies.
Bye.